Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tearing down track 12 from the album Recollections of Introspection, a song called Dancing Silhouettes. On a first listen, you might think, okay, this is just your standard love song. But trust me, it's not. When we actually cross-reference the artist's personal notes with the lyrics, this incredibly fascinating dual-layered narrative completely opens up. We're going to see exactly how some deeply raw emotional origins collide with, well, pure physical desire and massive cosmic astrophysics. It's a real trip.
To really get Dancing Silhouettes, we have to start at the absolute foundation. The artist actually gave us some context notes here, and they are incredibly vulnerable. They confess they were going through this severe mental excavation, really digging into the darkest corners of their own past. And that's the kind of heavy internal work that can easily swallow you whole. But they weren't lost. And the reason for that is entirely because of their girlfriend, Kim. She wasn't just a partner in this scenario. She was literally the vital emotional anchor who saved the artist from their own mind.
Okay, let's dive into this. If we trace the timeline of their connection, you really start to see the depth of this bond. Whenever that mental burden just got to be too much to handle, the artist would go to Kim, and she would hold them until they, quote, came back to the present moment. So we are not talking about some fleeting romance here. This was a deeply established bond built on survival and profound trust. In fact, the artist notes they're looking ahead to a near 6-year anniversary mark on January 7th, 2026. That longevity, that act of being a steadfast anchor for almost 6 years, that is the beating heart behind every single lyric in this song.
But here is where the story takes a really fantastic, totally unexpected turn. You'd probably think a song born from such a heavy emotional rescue would be entirely solemn, right? No way, not at all. The actual sonic catalyst for creating this track was born from jealousy. Seriously, specifically this playful competitive jealousy because Kim's favorite artist happened to be The Weeknd.
This confession is just such a fascinating peek behind the curtain. The artist literally writes, "I did it like saying, oh yeah, I can do that too." Driven by this playful competitive motivation, the artist basically set out to construct a specific track just for her. They wanted to prove they could deliver the exact kind of sonic vibe her favorite musician is famous for, but, making it deeply and exclusively personal to their own relationship. So to pull this off, the artist didn't just write a song, they built an audio artifact. The track's architecture relies heavily on taking The Weeknd's vocals from a Sao Paulo performance, adding all this echo and reverb, and having them sort of ghost in and out throughout the track. But they didn't stop there. To make absolutely sure this was a tribute to Kim, they wove intimately personal audio clips of her directly into the mix. So you're actually hearing Kim's authentic laugh, and, crucially, you hear her voice speaking the word synchronicity. Now that word is definitely not an accident. Synchronicity is a concept with massive psychological and cosmic weight. Basically, it describes events that happen at the same time and feel incredibly meaningful even though there's no obvious cause and effect linking them. By having Kim actually speak this word on the track, the artist permanently anchors the song's underlying theme. The idea that their meeting, their love, and her ability to save them from their past wasn't just luck, it was destiny. All right, now that we've got the sonic blueprint down, let's actually look at the lyrics. The song kicks off by presenting itself through a very grounded, earthy lens. Way before we get into the heavy concepts of destiny and the universe, the artist captures the frantic, breathless, hyperventilating reality of pure physical attraction. It's raw, it's colloquial, and it is heavily grounded in the physical body. Just consider some of these physical descriptions. Thunder from those thighs, heart rate elevating, heavy breathing and out of breath, like I got asthma. They even lean hard into the slang, noting they're fixated on that booty, damn you got asthma, and comparing her heat to being hotter than asphalt. It is incredibly street level. It perfectly captures that sweaty, frantic reality of earthly lust. It's real and it is immediate. Now, what's really interesting here is how drastically the song transforms. Right smack in the middle of this grounded, physical lust, the artist executes this massive pivot. We just blast off from the street levels straight into grandiose astrophysics metaphors. The scale of the song absolutely explodes. Notice the extreme whiplash in this contrast. On one side, we have the earthly lust, fixated on that booty, damn you got asthma, right? And juxtaposed literally right next to it, we get this majestic celestial poetry. Binary flames burn, twin souls in dark skies. The artist is showing us that this relationship exists in both realms simultaneously, the beautifully crude physical reality and the profound cosmic spiritual connection. The expansive language the artist uses just elevates this entirely. A bedroom encounter suddenly involves comets, constellations, and planets aligning. We get lines like, "Skin's a supernova,"
Love's gravity, a black hole's mystery. The artist describes a celestial collision and Big Bang breath. They see a nebula's soft glow in her gentle eyes. They take a deeply personal, intimate moment and literally blow it up to the size of a galaxy.
Which brings us to the synthesis of the track. The artist brilliantly merges these two halves, the sweat of earthly desire and the cold beauty of the cosmos, into an eternal dance. The lyrics talk about them being just dancing silhouettes in the moonlight, where time itself suspends. For these two souls, time and space literally bend. The physical body sways, but the spirit engages in this massive cosmic ballet.
And this elegantly brings our narrative full circle, right back to that opening backstory. The artist writes a secret language spoken in every sigh, where past mistakes in the darkness lie. Remember that mental excavation from the beginning? Remember the dark past that the artist was nearly lost to? Kim's gravity as an anchor was so strong, and their celestial dance so bright, that those past mistakes are successfully buried in the darkness. The shadows of the past get entirely replaced by a universe of light, love, and synchronicity. It's just a stunning transformation, really. From psychological survival to playful jealousy to a cosmic love letter, which leaves us with this final thought for you to reflect on today. If love can bend time and space to turn our darkest pasts into a universe in the heart, what constellations are you building with your own connections? Who are the anchors holding you to the present? Thank you so much for exploring these beautiful dancing silhouettes with me today. Keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next explainer.